Hello viewers, this is Dheeraj Malhotra and today we are going to discuss various types of data structures. So in the last video we have discussed what is the meaning of data structure and what are its various applications. So we have learned that data structure basically determine the way of organizing data in computer's memory so that we can effectively and efficiently retrieve the same. So I urge, in case if you have not watched that video, please go through that video also. So here we have various types of data structures. First of all, on the basis of organization of data, we can categorize them into linear and non-linear data structures. For instance, if the data elements are arranged in sequential order, then we can call it linear data structure. For example, in arrays and linked list, elements are arranged in such order. We will discuss all these types of data structures in detail. There are dedicated chapters and there are dedicated videos for the same. So for instance, in linked list we will learn that in order to access a particular data element stored within a node, we need to access previous elements. For example, from node first we cannot directly jump to node 4. We have to traverse through node number 2 and node number 3 in sequential order. So similarly, we have another type, that is non-linear data structure. So here elements are not necessarily stored in a sequential order. They are in fact not stored in sequential order. For example, graphs, trees, etc. So all of these are discussed in detail as soon as we go through various videos. Then we have another category of data structure, that is static and dynamic. This is based on when the memory is allocated. So in static, memory is allocated, in static type of data structures, memory is allocated before runtime. So that is important. For instance, all those of you who are well familiar with C, they know that we need to declare the size of array. Before using it, we need to declare the size of array. So for example, in C we write int arr 10, so that 10 must be mentioned, or 10, 5 or whatever the size, we need to mention it before compiling. So similarly, a dynamic data structure on the other way can allow us to allocate memory at runtime whatever is required. So let us take a real life example to better understand these two types. So for instance, if you have marriage at your home, fine. So you know that you have certain idea that around so many guests will come. Then you will go to some banquet or caterer that I need, hospitality or food arrangement for so many people. So you need to tell them in advance that how many people at least. So for instance, you arrange for 500 people. So whether you are assured in that scenario that exactly 500 people will turn up, no, it's not possible to estimate the exact number in such a situation, especially when the number is large. For example, if you have arrangement for, if you want to give party to your 3 of your friends, then even you can estimate it correctly, but yes, for many people it would be quite difficult. So static data structures are of such a type in which, for instance, I just gave an example of array. So we need to declare the size of array. However, there is possibility that the size allocated may not suffice during runtime, or maybe much space is much space is not utilized, and maybe you can categorize it as wasted. So for instance, if you declare array of 100 elements, and let us take an example of a hotel. Okay, so in a hotel you want to you like to code that whomsoever customer is coming, we will store the information about the customer, like phone number, email address, etc. So okay, whether you can guess the exact number how many customers will turn up, so that is almost next to impossible. So in that situation, if you allocate array by assuming that okay, on an average 100 customers daily come, so it is quite possible that one day 105 people come, another day 50 customers only come. So one thing will happen, either it would be wasted, space would be wasted, or another thing may be possible that it would be not sufficient. So alternative is dynamic data structure. So dynamic data structure, we will allocate memory by seeing the user response on runtime. So if user need more memory, then we will allocate it, and you can say that we will allocate only that much memory which is exactly required by the user. So that example is linked list. So still we can't say that many of my students usually question, so we can say that linked lists are better than array. No, not like that, because they both have their own specific application areas. Static data structures, we can understand that there is little, they are unflexible regarding their size, but still they are very fast to be processed by the system. So for instance, there are certain application in which well in advance that how much memory you exactly require. For example, if some student of a BTech wants to code something like that, she wants to keep track for students' information, then it's very much possible, because well in advance how many students are there in the class. So in such applications, array is better. And in another application which I have just discussed, like hotel, so we can say that comparatively dynamic data structures are better. So as a programmer, you need to decide that which data structure is most appropriate for which application, and this is one of the objective of studying this particular subject and making this video. So another category of data structures is homogeneous and non-homogeneous. Homogeneous data structures are those in which all the data elements are of same type. For example, in arrays, all those who are well familiar with arrays in C well know that whenever we declare array, for example int AR 100, then all the 100 elements must be of integer type. We can't say that we need first 50 integer and another 50 float. So, on the other hand, in non-homogeneous data structures, various sub elements may be of different type, so these are also known as heterogeneous data structures. So we usually make linked list by using structure. So that is an example of non-homogeneous data structure. So as per your requirement, what kind of information you want to store, you can use either homogeneous or non-homogeneous. Then we have primitive. Primitives are the fundamental type of data structure which are predefined and are supported by programming language, and the example is like integer, long, float, so we need not to define them. However, non-primitive data structures are advanced one, and they are you can say they are formed by using primitive one. So examples of non-primitive include arrays, linked list, stack queues, etc. So here is the diagram. So in case if you are watching this video due to your academic purpose to clear some exam of data structure, so it's suggested that you should make diagrams, you should write code wherever it is possible rather than just writing theories. So the kind of presentation followed in this particular book you may follow, and the notes are just sufficient to be written. There is no scope to further trim down. Then these are some of the frequently asked questions which I have seen in many question papers of various universities. So you can now write down their answers easily. So you must go through all these questions if you are following my book. Well, there are queries from many students that they are unable to decide. Actually, when they browse the Amazon and they found 2 of my books, then they are confused at which book is most appropriate. So earlier also told, I am again repeating that these 2 books are of 2 different reasons. This one, which is highly priced, this is US edition, and its details are like this. It is published by Mercury Learning and Information. You can note down these ISBN numbers. So in case if you are residing in US or Canada or nearby, then you should go for this book, because it would be easily available there. And another book is that is Indian edition, is from Lakshmi Publications, and if you are residing in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh or nearby SAARC countries, then you should go for this book. So both of these books are available on Amazon and on bookshops within India as well. So you can go through the appropriate edition depending upon your location. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching.